Imagine waking up one day, getting out of bed, and suddenly not being able to hold your own body up. Your legs give out. Your balance is gone. You try to take a step, but it feels like the ground just disappears. This doesn't happen all of a sudden. It's a slow, silent process, and sadly, it's becoming more and more common after 60 years of age. What's even scarier is that most people don't know this has a name, a cause, and a way to prevent it. So let me ask you, did you know there's one single vitamin that can help keep your muscle strength, your balance, and your ability to walk safely? A vitamin that your body slowly stops absorbing as you get older. And that might be the key to still climbing stairs, walking around the store, or just standing up from the couch without needing help. The problem is, most people only find this out after they've already had a fall. And by then, it might be too late. That's why, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly which vitamin this is, how to spot the deficiency, and most importantly, what you can do starting today to keep your independence and avoid permanent losses. Watch until the end. This information could help you stay on your feet for many more years. Have you ever noticed how, as the years go by, some simple things start to feel harder? Climbing a step, getting up from a chair without using your hands, walking a bit faster without losing your balance. All of that becomes more challenging. What most people don't realize is that this loss of strength in the legs might be happening right now, and in a silent way. No pain, no warning, no clear signal. It's like a thief slowly taking away the stability you didn't even know you were losing. And here comes the most worrying part. Many people only realize it when they're already walking slower, tripping more often, needing to hold on to furniture, avoiding going out. The common belief is that this is just part of getting old. But that's not exactly true. Science has shown that there's a critical and often ignored factor behind this loss of strength. Vitamin D deficiency. Recent research, published in international medical journals, brings a serious warning. Keeping good levels of vitamin D can prevent, or at least delay, a lot, sarcopenia, which is the progressive loss of muscle mass as we age. Sarcopenia isn't rare. It affects most people over 60 years old, and it gets worse over time if nothing is done. What few people know is that vitamin D is directly connected to this process. It's not just about bones like many still think. This vitamin is involved in the very function of muscle tissue. It helps with muscle contraction, tone, and the regeneration of muscle fibers. When it's lacking, the body loses its ability to keep strength, stability, and quick muscle response, especially in the legs. And this has a huge impact in real life. Weaker leg muscles mean more instability while walking, higher risk of falls, more difficulty getting up and moving around safely. That's when people start using canes, walkers, wheelchairs, and in many cases, it's the beginning of total dependence on others. This leads to a dangerous cycle of immobility, loss of self-esteem, isolation, and even depression. But now here's the good news. Science already knows that correcting vitamin D levels can stop this process, and even more, it can actually reverse some of the damage, especially if done early. That's why I say this with such confidence. This discovery can change everything. Vitamin D is something simple, natural, accessible, and your own body can make it with the help of sunlight. But as you get older, your skin loses the ability to produce this vitamin the same way. That means, even if you're in the sun every day, you could still be deficient and not even know it. And if this deficiency isn't fixed, your body slowly becomes weaker, less stable, and more likely to fall. The most impressive part? Studies show that people who keep healthy levels of vitamin D have stronger muscles, fewer falls, and stay physically independent even after 90 years old. And this isn't some exaggerated promise. It's real data from well-done clinical research. So think about it with me. If there's a safe, accessible, and effective way to avoid falls, prevent hospital stays, and keep your freedom to come and go, why wait until weakness takes over? Why wait until the first fall, the first fracture? It's like your body is sending little signs, quiet warnings, that it needs help. And vitamin D might be exactly the boost it needs to keep you strong, on your feet, with safety and dignity. Now that you understand how big this discovery is, the next step is simple. Learn how to use this knowledge for your own good. Because just knowing isn't enough. You need to turn it into action. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in the next few minutes. Now that you understand the impact vitamin D can have on your strength and independence, I want to show you a part that almost no one talks about. But it makes all the difference. The role of vitamin D goes way beyond bone health. Yes, it's true that it helps with calcium absorption and keeping your bones strong. Most people have heard that. But what most people still don't know, and what's crucial after 60, is that this vitamin works directly inside your muscles. And when I say muscles, I'm not just talking about lifting weights or going to the gym. I'm talking about something much more basic and essential. The simple act of walking, climbing stairs, keeping your balance, or getting up from the couch without effort. Vitamin D helps regulate muscle tone. That slight, constant tension that keeps your muscles awake, even when you're not moving. That's what lets you lift your foot firmly, keep good posture, and react quickly when you misstep. It also plays an important role in motor coordination, which is the connection between what your brain tells your body to do and how your body responds. Now imagine that system not working right. The brain's signal gets weaker, the muscle response is delayed, balance is lost. That's when the little slips start, the dragging feet, tripping over the rug, the scare on the stairs. These are small signs that many people ignore or blame on natural aging, but they might actually be signs of a chronic vitamin D deficiency. And the most worrying part is that all of this can happen without any pain. So you don't feel like you're getting worse, but you are. The body adapts to weakness, to imbalance, and that leads many people to stop going out, avoid stairs, turn down invitations to walk, and little by little lose their confidence and freedom. This is when the canes show up, the supports, the fear of falling. All of that could be avoided, or at least eased if vitamin D levels were under control. Because it's not just about protecting your bones, it's about making sure your body can handle the simplest movements. And here's something serious. The longer this deficiency stays in your body, the higher the risk that some damage becomes permanent. Muscle mass loss, for example, can be partly recovered, but motor coordination and muscle tone wear down over time. It's like, with every week lacking enough vitamin D, your body quietly gets weaker. No warning, no pain, but with deep consequences. But the good news is that this cycle can be stopped, and it doesn't take a miracle or expensive treatment. All you need is to catch the deficiency early and fix it consistently. With medical guidance, safe sun exposure, proper nutrition, and when needed the right supplements, the results start showing, and fast. Many patients say that in just a few weeks, their legs feel stronger again, their steps more steady, their body more balanced. It's a visible change, and it doesn't depend on age, it depends on action. That's why I keep saying, don't wait for a fall to start paying attention. If your legs already feel weak, if you're dragging your feet or afraid to walk on uneven ground, don't accept that as just part of getting older. It might just be your body warning you that it's missing a key nutrient for its most basic functions. In the next part, I'm going to show you the scientific evidence that proves all of this, and why the numbers don't lie when it comes to vitamin D and fall prevention. Stay with me. Now that you understand how vitamin D works directly on your muscles and your balance, it's time to show you what science already knows, and what very few people talk about with the seriousness it deserves. Unfortunately, some still treat this subject as something minor, as if it were just one more vitamin. But the studies show it's not. What I'm going to show you now is not opinion. It's evidence. It's medical reality. And it might be the push you needed to take action before the damage shows up. Let's get straight to the point. One of the most important studies was published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society. It followed a group of seniors who started taking vitamin D and compared them with a group who didn't. The result was clear, a 23% drop in falls. That means almost 1 out of 4 falls simply didn't happen. Now think with me. How many fractures, hospital stays, and complications could be avoided just with that one fact? That's less pain, fewer medications, fewer wheelchairs, and more freedom. Another highly respected study, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, followed women over 65 years old. What did they find? Those who took vitamin D properly had 22% fewer hip fractures. And you know what a hip fracture means at that age, right? In many cases, it's the start of permanent limitations. Some people completely lose their ability to move around. Others develop infections, spend long periods stuck in bed, and in more serious cases, never walk again. And there's more. Clinical trials carried out over 3 to 6 months showed 3 striking results. 31% drop in the number of falls, 35% increase in muscle strength, 40% reduction in the risk of fractures. These numbers are impressive. And most importantly, they're not marketing promises. They're results from serious research done with real people in real-life situations, just like yours. What these studies show us is that vitamin D is not a minor detail. It's a game changer. And this applies to both people who have already lost some muscle strength and those who want to prevent bigger problems. The sooner you act, the easier it is to keep your physical strength, your balance, and your independence. And the most interesting thing is that these results start showing up in just a few months. Supplementing vitamin D, along with the right habits, has a continuous and building effect. In other words, every week you keep healthy levels of vitamin D, your body responds with more strength, more stability, more endurance. So the value of prevention here is not just about avoiding falls or fractures. It's about keeping your independence, your ability to leave the house without fear, to do things with confidence, to not need anyone to help you get out of bed or take a shower. That's freedom. And freedom at this stage of life is priceless. Now, after all this, here comes the question I hear most often in my office. If science has already proven all of this, why do so many people still have a vitamin D deficiency? Why are so many still suffering from something that's actually simple to fix? That's exactly what I'll explain in the next part. Because understanding the reason behind this deficiency is the first step to not falling into the same trap. Well, now that you've seen what science says and understood the real importance of vitamin D for your muscle health and balance, it's time to answer a very serious question. Why, even with all this information available, do more than 60% of seniors still have a deficiency in this vitamin? The answer lies in the aging process itself. As the years go by, our bodies change, and one of these changes is that the skin starts to lose its ability to produce vitamin D from sunlight. In other words, even if you go out in the sun like you always did, your body no longer turns that sunlight into vitamin D as efficiently as before. This makes older adults doubly vulnerable. They need more of this vitamin, but their bodies make less of it. Now add to that a lifestyle that's more and more spent indoors. Many seniors end up staying inside most of the time, whether for safety, fear of falling, chronic illnesses, or just out of routine. And even those who try to go out in the sun often don't get exposed in the right way. That's because they usually go out late in the day, wearing long clothes, hats, and sometimes even sunscreen on every visible part of their body. The result? Almost total blockage of the main natural source of vitamin D. Another big factor is the modern diet. With the rush of daily life and the rise of processed and frozen foods, people's diets have become poor in natural sources of vitamin D. Fish like salmon, sardines, and tuna, which are rich in this vitamin, are being left out more and more. Eggs, mushrooms, and fortified dairy products have also disappeared from many people's meals. In their place came processed snacks, cookies, instant noodles, and foods with low nutritional value. And the body starts to feel it. But it doesn't scream, it whispers. The first signs of deficiency are usually subtle. A strange weakness in the legs, a small loss of balance that keeps happening, joint pain, back pain, night cramps, or wounds that take longer to heal. The problem is that these symptoms also show up in many other common situations with aging. So most people don't connect the dots. They think it's normal, that it's just part of getting older, and they don't seek help. Until the first fall happens, the first fracture, the first hospital stay. And by then, the body may have spent months or even years functioning below the ideal level. What could have been fixed with a simple step turns into a more serious problem. The good news is that there's a very simple test that can help avoid all this suffering. It's a blood test called 25-hydroxyvitamin D. It measures the vitamin D levels in your body. It's quick, affordable, done at any lab, and with it, you'll know exactly where you stand. If your level is within the ideal range, great. But if it's low, now you know you need to take action. And the sooner, the better. This kind of test should be as routine as checking your blood pressure or testing blood sugar. Because vitamin D deficiency isn't rare, it isn't harmless, and most importantly, it isn't invisible to those who know where to look. So if you already feel like your legs have gotten weaker, if you've been losing your balance more often, or if you've had a fall in the past few months, don't ignore it. It could be your body silently calling for help, and that help can start with a simple blood draw. In the next part, I'm going to show you exactly what to do if your vitamin D is low, with a practical, step-by-step guide to help you bring your levels back up and regain your physical strength, even if the symptoms have already started. Now that you understand why so many people have a vitamin D deficiency without even realizing it, I want to show you what to do in practice to fix it before the effects become more serious. Because it's not enough to just know you're lacking. You need to take action. And the sooner you follow this step-by-step plan, the better your chances of getting back your strength, stability, and freedom to walk safely. The first step is the most natural of all, getting sunlight the right way. A lot of people think that taking a quick walk on the sidewalk or sitting by a window is enough, but it's not. Getting sun in the late afternoon, for example, doesn't help your body produce vitamin D. And if you only go out in the sun once a week, that's not enough either. The ideal is to get between 20 and 30 minutes of direct sunlight on your skin, 3 to 4 times a week. This should happen between 10 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, when the sunlight is strong enough to stimulate vitamin production. And pay attention, your arms and legs need to be uncovered. No long sleeves, thick pants, or wide hats covering your whole face. Your skin needs real exposure. Now, if you live in a cold region or spend long periods with little sun, there's an alternative. Phototherapy. These are special lamps that mimic sunlight and can be used under medical guidance. It's a safe and effective option for those who can't get regular sun exposure due to weather or mobility issues. The second step is to adjust your diet. Vitamin D is found in certain foods you might not eat often, but they're easy to include in your routine. Fish like salmon, sardines, tuna, and mackerel are excellent sources. Also on the list are egg yolks, sun-exposed mushrooms, and fortified dairy products. You don't need to change everything at once. Just start by adding 1 or 2 of these items during the week. Little by little, your body will feel the difference. And the best part, these are tasty, accessible foods that also bring other health benefits besides vitamin D. The third step is supplementation. In many cases, sunlight and food alone aren't enough to keep your vitamin D levels ideal, especially after 60. For adults between 50 and 70, the recommended dose is 600 international units IU per day. Over 70, it can go up to 800 or even 2000 IU, depending on each person's needs. But keep this in mind, always talk to your doctor before starting any supplement. Another important point, choose the D3 form, cholecalciferol, which is better absorbed by the body. And take it along with a healthy fat like olive oil, avocado, or nuts. This improves absorption and helps your body make the most of what you're taking. The fourth step, which many people ignore, is magnesium. It's essential for vitamin D to work properly in the body. Without enough magnesium, even with sun and supplements, vitamin D may not be activated as it should. You can get magnesium from simple foods like dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, seeds, pumpkin, sunflower, whole grains, and nuts, almonds, Brazil nuts. And if needed, supplementation is also an option, always with professional guidance. These 4 steps, when combined, create a simple, safe, and effective plan. They don't require major lifestyle changes or big investments. What they do require is consistency. You need to make it a daily habit, like brushing your teeth or drinking a glass of water when you wake up. And the best part? You don't have to wait months to start feeling the difference. The signs of improvement show up sooner than most people think. And that's exactly what I'm going to tell you about in the next part. Now that you know exactly what to do to fix a vitamin D deficiency, I want to show you how soon your body starts to respond to these changes. This is one of the most common questions I hear in the office. If I start today, When will I see results? The answer might surprise you. A lot of people think vitamin D takes months or even years to show any effect. But the truth is, your body responds much faster than most people imagine. Especially if you consistently follow the 4 key steps: sun exposure, food, supplements, and magnesium. Let's look at this as a real timeline based on scientific studies and real-life experience with hundreds of patients. In the first 2 weeks, many people already notice subtle but very meaningful changes. One of the most common complaints that starts to improve early on is cramping, especially at night. Cramps begin to ease or even disappear, bringing huge relief to those who deal with this discomfort. Another common improvement in the early weeks is energy throughout the day. Even without big changes in routine, your body starts to have more energy for small activities, like walking, going shopping, or tidying up the house. After about 1 month, the effects become more noticeable in your muscles. Many people say their legs feel stronger, and that sense of instability, like the ground is shifting, starts to go away. Walking on uneven sidewalks or going upstairs feels less intimidating. Some also report better sleep because the body relaxes more at night and the muscles aren't constantly tense. But it's from the 3rd month onward that the results really become consistent. Science confirms bone density begins to improve, which directly helps prevent fractures. The risk of falling can drop by up to 31%, and muscle strength can increase by up to 35%, even in people over 70. That means less effort to get up, less need to lean on furniture, and more safety to walk on your own. Another effect many patients report is better coordination while walking. Steps feel steadier, the body is more balanced, and those sudden moments of losing balance nearly disappear. This builds confidence, and confidence leads to more movement. The more secure you feel, the more you move. And movement, in turn, strengthens your muscles even more. It's a positive cycle that keeps building on itself. But pay attention. None of this happens by magic, and it's not enough to improve today and quit tomorrow. Vitamin D needs to be kept at ideal levels, and that only happens with consistency. That's why it's so important to do regular blood tests to track how your body is responding. It's also key to understand that the supplement alone is not a miracle cure. It's just one part of the system. True results come from the smart and balanced combination of sun, real food, the right supplement dose, and enough magnesium. It's a full team working together, and it works. And the best part? This routine doesn't take extreme effort or major life changes. It's simple, it's practical, it's accessible. And the benefits it brings can completely transform the quality of your next years. You avoid falls, prevent fractures, stay out of the hospital, and most of all, you keep your independence. And if there's one thing everyone wants to protect after 60, it's the ability to stand up, walk, come and go freely. Without fear, without pain, without needing anyone's help. And the most important thing, this doesn't depend on luck. It depends on action. On the right information and small daily choices, you now have a simple, proven, and safe tool in your hands to age with more strength, more balance, and more independence. Talk to your doctor, get tested, adjust your routine, because you deserve to live this stage of life with energy and with dignity. Now that you've made it this far, you already know something most people don't. There's a simple, affordable, and powerful vitamin that can help keep your legs strong, your balance steady, and your independence intact, even after 60, 70, or even 90 years of age. You've learned that vitamin D isn't just about bones. It's directly connected to your muscle strength, coordination, and ability to move safely. You also found out that deficiency is common at this stage of life, that the signs are silent, and that many falls, pains, and limitations could be avoided with a simple preventive action. Most important of all, you now have the step-by-step plan to change this. From getting sun at the right time, choosing the right foods, taking proper supplements, and including magnesium, everything is clear and within your reach. But none of this matters if it stays just as information. What really makes a difference is action. That's why I invite you to start today. Talk to your doctor, ask for the test, review your routine, take care of your body now so it can keep supporting you with dignity for many years to come. And if this video helped you in any way, Don't keep this information to yourself. Share it with a friend or family member who's been feeling weaker in the legs, who's afraid of falling, or who thinks this is just part of aging. Sometimes, a simple video like this can help avoid a hospital stay, a fracture, or even an irreversible loss. Also, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Every week, I bring clear, straight to the point, and truly helpful content for people over 60 who want to age with more health, independence, and quality of life. Thanks for staying with me until the end. Taking care of yourself is an act of responsibility and self-love, and it's never too late to start. See you in the next video.